do hope we are live already. I'm so glad to be here tonight. I didn't think I was going to make it, but by the grace of God, here I am. I had such a wonderful response from everyone in the Facebook group that I just wanted to tell them how much I love you. I've had I've had friends on Facebook for a very long time, many, many, many years. And so I was delighted to see them coming and joining me on my lives with YouTube. Hi, Sherry. How are you, honey girl? I think that maybe we got our problem fixed about addressing people from both areas, fed up from Facebook and YouTube. So I hope it turns out right tonight. There is a delay and a lag. There always is. I understand from everybody who I've been talking to uh, on YouTube. So we'll have to deal with that when you. Hi, Tina, darling, all the way from across the big drink. I'm so glad to see you, honey girl. Thank you for coming and joining me. Please let me ask you all if you haven't subscribed. I hope you will because I need more subscribers and I will be so appreciative whenever you do. Click on my link and just subscribe. Doesn't cost anything and I would really be appreciative. I want to welcome my son, Ambiotic Ambiotic Synapse. His name is Jason and he's a sweetheart. I am so excited about doing this because it's totally new for me. So you'll have to forgive me as I blubber through everything. Um, uh, Thank you, Jace. That's my answer to your questions may take me a little time, but about 14 seconds. He says we're going to be in a wondrous um, position soon on Unpassive. I want to start by saying tonight I'd like to cover a little bit of conversation. Oh, Tina, I hope you can too, and I want to have you as a guest. I really would like to bring you and Sherry on, but I haven't figured out how to do that quite well yet. uh, but if you let me know you want to be a guest so I could interview you, oh, I would love it. Then I can bring you on right at the opening, and I know how to do that. But I think that if I just send you an invite with a link, you might be able to join me on screen. And I'm working on that. I'm going to get better every time you guys show up. I promise. I hope, anyway. Um, Tina, I want to tell both you and Sherry tomorrow morning. I don't know how it will affect on your time frame, but Mike Ojam Tombia is going to have me as myself and Jeffrey Morlock and Dr. Benny, Mike. We're going to be talking about more extensively because Mike is much more of a expert on technology than I am, but he's going to extend the conversation about what we were talking about, the blockchain technology. Uh, there's going to be topics on my site that the other people might not cover because I want to be more open to what you guys want to talk about. I want you to ask me, okay, can you use this for a topic next week, Willow? Boy, I can't even get my shirt straight tonight. I'm so that's what happens when you become a doddering old fool. Um, as I was saying, I want to keep the topics Tina, everybody that I know is still grasping about blockchain, and that's why Mike is going to expand upon it. But his show starts on Eastern Standard Time at 11 a.m. in the morning on Sunday mornings. And some people find it very difficult to get up that early, but I'm up, and so it's always pretty good for me. But he is such a lovely person. I want us all to support him. Hi, Tanya. How are you, sweetheart? It's good to see you. I'm so glad you're here with us. I see you on Marty's live all the time, and I'm glad to have you here on mine. We were just discussing between all of us that tomorrow at 11 a.m., Michael Ojean Tambia is having a webinar, and I'm going to attend with, oh, yeah, it is 12 hours, huh, Tina? Difference. Yeah, I figured that. But anyway, he's going to be covering, if you guys want to start your own site on YouTube, for example, Michael is so helpful. He'll show you on your screen. You could go in and ask him to show you on your screen what you have to add. And he really helped me get started a lot. And that's why I'm really anxious to support him, because he supports old doddering fools like me that can't figure out the new technology immediately, So he was really helpful about showing me I make things more difficult than they are, of course, worry myself to death. But getting on Facebook is not really that difficult, but there are key things that you got to do before you can go live. And he really has a nice way about showing everybody, if they want to learn, all you got to do is tell him, and he will show you. He'll take over your screen, show you what you have to put in, and he's just fantastic. And so I might ask him if he would do another demonstration show, because I want to see all of you get on Facebook, because we're going to be just climbing the walls when this launches. We're going to want to be sharing it with friends. We're going to want to share it with family. We're going to have our own products that I want to kind of touch on tonight, later, are going to be dominating the world. And all of us have got to be able to share and learn and find out what works and what doesn't work together. So if you have a YouTube channel, please feel free to post it and tell everybody to sign up. And give me your link. If you don't put the link here, put the link in Facebook. And I will go immediately if I get a message, and I'll join and I'll share it. So if we do that, all of us will have a platform that we can really learn how to share on YouTube. I'm getting so brave. I'm going to have 2 channels pretty soon. I probably will be devoting all my life to YouTube like some of these people do. But I am excited about it. I think it's fun. And I think that we can make it worthwhile for ONPASSIVE, all of us. There's some of you that are so, like you, Tina, and Tanya, and Sherry, you guys are shining stars, and you just need to step up. And I think Ash is being very observant about who is doing that. Hey, there's my John. Right, John Botakis from Australia. I'm so glad you're here, honey. I've been singing your praises. I love having you. We were just discussing about how all of us need to really hone our skills on YouTube to present an ONPASSIVE face that people are going to love, that they're going to want to come and see what we're talking about. I know you do, but you know what, Sherry? I do too. I'd be lying if I didn't tell you every time I go to go on live. Oh my God! I look in the mirror and I say, "What are you doing, you old fool?" You know, but I still do it. And my mother taught me a long time ago. Things that you were afraid of. If you just tell yourself, just do it. Get through it once, and then you can refine it. And she was really wise for her age. And she says, if you're afraid of something and you don't do it, it'll always haunt you that you didn't give it a try. Oh, Tanya, thank you, honey. That's great coming from you. I appreciate that. I don't know if I can get better, 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 but I think I can become a better me. And that's what I want. I want to show people that rely on me that I'm not afraid. Uh, don't. Oh, Tina, you're gorgeous. Both of you are gorgeous. There's no reason for you to be afraid. I'm going to have you on, each one of you, one at a time, and I'll talk you to death so you won't be afraid anymore. I will help you every step of the way, I promise. So don't be afraid of that. You can't. What can they do for it? They call us names. We've been called names before, so take your best shot, sucker. I'll come after you. you know. Oh, Tina, you're a darling to say that. But I'm not afraid of adversaries. I just am one that I grew up with that you speak when you're spoken to. You're not outgoing. You don't, you know, my dad used to say, don't take your business to the street, girl. And I never figured out what the hell that meant. And I says, well, I'm not going to be peddling on the street for sure. What do you mean by that? But he would never define what he meant. He just said he was very private, and he believed you had to keep everything private, your own business. And many years ago, I learned that there are some things you can share with the public, but dealing with battered women for so many years, there's a lot of stuff you better not put out there because it could be very harmful to your life. So there are rules in the new world that even I sometimes get a little wary of. I've had people stalk me and things of that nature when I was on Blog Talk Radio, especially. I love to do radio because you don't have to be visible. And it's a great way to learn how to talk to walls because you don't have anybody to look at or anything. You can learn to talk and converse. That's a trick. There's a trick to that. So I've had a little background in that for about 10 years, and that really helped me a lot. I like radio. I like late night radio. I used to be one that listened to all the late night radio shows, and I miss that they're not there anymore. That much. There are some that are still. John, you're right. ONPASSIVE is going to take us into a whole new world. I don't think we're all totally aware of how much. So, I'm not going to be traveling, and because of my health and my husband's health mostly, I'm trying to fix my blouse, and it will not quite. You know how you look in and you see it, but it's on the other side, and so you're pulling on, like I'm pulling on this one. I want to pull this up. That's crazy, crazy, crazy. Oh, Tina, your reflection in the mirror is a creation of yourself. You created that. You know that. And when you learn that other people do not view you like you see yourself, that was something that really helped me because I was so afraid that I'd come off as a ditzy, and I'm not, but I act like it. And when I get nervous, oh, I talk, 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 talk. So this is really good for me because I can talk as much as I want on this kind of platform, and I'm not interrupting anybody else, and I'm always afraid of being rude to somebody on the webinars or interrupting or something like that. After a while, the webinars just got tiresome to me, and I don't know about you. I think we need a new look where we have like. That's why I want to really tell you to get your own channel. I'll help you do it, where we could talk back and forth and all of us can share things. We did it years ago when we joined Facebook. We didn't know how to type in anything, and we thought that was so clever, the things that we could do on Facebook. Now they're really commonplace. So John said, in case you guys can't see, I hope I've got the chat fixed, Sherry. I pray. I really worked on it today. But he said, it's up to us founders to make this world a much better place. And he's going to do more than his bit for humanity. And I think all of us have that kind of mindset. I'd like to know, now, if you have, well, I'm going to be talking about, oh, good, Sherry, I'm glad you're here on YouTube, because I think you're more visible. I don't know if anybody's coming in on Facebook yet, but it's usually later. I lost my train of thought here. I think that 1.3 million founders, John, is really going to be upsetting the apple cart out there. And, ladies, we got to figure out, at least 50% of that group are women. And women are going to have their voices heard in a different way because we are going to have the ability to be more verbal, to be more expressive, to be more out there. And I might as well undress here, fellas and girls. I don't know what I'm doing with this blouse, but it's not behaving. There are, like John said, 1.3 million founders, and at least 50% are women. If you do the math, it may be a little skewed one way or the other, but we've got a majority platform to ride on. Oh, Sherry, God love you. You make me feel so good. I'm going to you and I, honey girl, we've been through it, haven't we? And when we get to the point where we can be comfortable sharing that with the world and saying, hey, here I am. Love me or leave me, because it doesn't matter. I like myself. And so we're going to be a force to be reckoned with. I was thinking of ways today that I wanted to use Oh Bless, the platform Oh Bless. So I want to talk a little bit about Oh Bless. And let's really look at it. And I want you to put in the chat. I can put your comment and feature it on the screen, and I'd like some feedback from you about Oh Bless, your heartfelt feelings about Oh Bless, because I used to donate to everything, like especially the Native American groups. And whenever I had $20, I'd donate. Yeah. And then I found out that they didn't didn't even get a half of what was collected. And when Ash come out and talked to us about Oh Bless, I tell you, John, I was so excited because Oh, bless empowers people to unite. He put the reins in our hands to take this out to the world and say, we're not taking a dime for this. This is from our hearts. We want to do this for the world. And that's who we are. That's who ONPASSIVE is. It's going to connect the people seeking financial assistance in such a way that they're not going to be ashamed to take the money. I know that a lot of my friends in California, for instance, last year was hellacious with the fires. Whole entire towns burnt down. They're still living in tents. And they won't go out. Their pride won't let them go out. They're rebuilding, but it is so expensive for the lumber and everything right now. The way the economy is, it's almost impossible to rebuild. And they're living in tent cities, because they had disasters of that proportion last year in California with the fires. Now look at the people in Oklahoma, in the Midwest, and the tornadoes, and how they lost their homes, and they don't have the shirt on their back. And I can think of over and over and over and over. I thought, well, I don't live in a big city, John, so I thought, what could I do here? But when I started looking at the poverty in West Virginia, I didn't have to look very far, just down the road. There's so much third world poverty here in our state that we could, never stop helping. And that kind of leads me into my next little rant about Oh Bless. I think all of us need to start in our own community. Like Ash said, take care of yourself first, of course, take care of all of our family. But the community we live in should be our first priority. And then we can push outward into the other third world countries. Tanya, West Virginia is beautiful. I don't want you to take me wrong, honey. I love it. I'm a native Californian, but I love West Virginia as if I was born here. And I probably will never, ever, ever leave. This country is so beautiful here that it's I'm a mountain woman. I don't particularly like the ocean that much. I like my mountains and my trees and my down home people and guitar pickers. I fit right in here. So, but I think that we should use. I have great dreams, John, of doing that too. But I think we gotta. I know from experience, when I started working for the battered women's shelter, not working, I was volunteering. I thought, oh, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do that, and I'm going to. Beckley's about 40 miles from us, Tonya. So we go to Beckley to shop. That's where we travel to shop. Anyway, I thought I was going to make such a difference by being able to help women take charge of their life again. And I found out I was a drip in the bucket. But when I started, one woman at a time. Hi, Marty, darling. Oh, God love you. I'm so glad you're here, sweetheart. You make my heart sing. We're talking about Oh Bless and the plans that we're going to have. I love you too, my friend. Anyway, as I was saying, I think if we start, and Marty, you're the one that really, really zeroed in on that. We don't have to travel far. like Jason and I find people one road down. There's there's an elderly lady and she doesn't have anybody to even get her groceries. You know, we're living in a world of broken systems, Sherry, that we can fix with Oh Bless, and we know that they're going to get the money, not half go to some organization that don't deserve it. You know, and so like it is challenging, but Martin Martin, I was reading you think, Marty, you know, I feel the way you do. When I first started helping battered women, I thought I was going to make a big splash in the world and get them out on their own and all of that. And I found out I was much better working through another organization where I could get easy access to women that needed the help, if that makes any sense. And the same principle applies here. If we start small within our own community, then branch out to whatever we want to do, and we make a dent here, maybe the kid down the street is in trouble, like that boy that slaughtered all those people in Texas. If just one person had reached out to him and maybe gave him another avenue to move on, it wouldn't have been that disaster. So what I'm saying is, I really think there are people in place. Here in West Virginia, I have found out, like, for example, in Charleston, they've got a program. There are people that have lived there in poverty in town, keeping their own little area in as good a shape as they can get it in. It's all clean and respectable, and they mow the lawns and they take care of everything, but they can't get money for supplies to keep their homes in shape. They don't have jobs that are supporting entire families. Like all of us are, taking it for granted that we're going to be able to take care of our kids. Excuse me, my allergies are kicking butt today. Um, but that's not necessarily true, and I agree with you, Marty. We have to scale up and connect the people together that have already got something in place, but they're constricted by not having any funds. And I found out with the Battered Women Association, we needed funds to move people out of the area that they were living in so they could start a new life. And all of them were willing to go to school, take care of their kids. But if we transferred them out from one major city to another, they had to go through. Yeah, I got some here, honey. I got tea. I live on tea. Um, you know, they would have a 3 month layover before they could even start getting welfare assistance or help from the government. And they start setting up little areas where they all kind of join together, where if we got a girl that's coming in from South Dakota, the Native American women are treated terrible there, and we want to move them into an area where they can get their kids taken care of and they can go to school and stuff. That cost is defrayed by 3 or 4 groups that join together and do funding for that one little girl that needs to be relocated. And so it works so much better than me going out trying to raise the money and maybe raising a quarter of it. And then she's still left in a crisis center in a state where her abuser is waiting for her to step out the door so he can shoot her. So we've got to do some serious thinking about our community in the future, wherever we live, and start there, because Oh Bless wants to connect the people that need the help with those that can give it. And when you campaign for things, we're going to have it so easy with OBLES because it allows us to run campaigns and raise awareness at the same time, if that makes any sense, So, especially if we put our funding desires out there in the marketplace, and it's going to spread like wildfire that way. A user can be running campaigns to get financial assistance, say, for people that have social problems like houses burnt down, things of that nature. And they can get ways to even help their own self, by raising other people up, treatment and things that our community needs. OBLES is going to be like a godsend for people that don't want to put their kids in school anymore. O Academy and OBLES is going to change how people learn. And all we got to do is to get, oh, me too, John. That's why I get talking, diarrhea of the mouth, so to speak. OBLES offers a platform for all of us, individual campaigners, to get together to make a difference in the world. But it gives us a gateway where we open the door and we know where to walk in, and they put it all together for you. So if you've got an idea and you say, okay, I want to help that teacher in second grade that goes out and takes her own hard-earned money every year when she goes back to school to get her little kids up to stuff because they can't afford to buy paper, pens, pencils, and all the supplies that the school district tells them they have to have. That's just when, now they've got a couple of small organizations that are working on shoestrings that I'm going to get with and see what I can do. Because educating our children is like educating those that are going to be our future. They're the ones who are going to be taking care of you in your senior years. Those kids are going to be the one that's going to bring our government into a better place. So we got to make, if they're going to be educated at home, we got to get with people that can get computers. And I touched upon a co-op of a girl that I know that I love that teaches, she homeschooled all her children. And I think Dawn with Marty homeschools too, doesn't she a little bit, Marty? If you're still there. But anyway, these kids got an education with the 20 people they had in the co-op. We could form co-ops in little pockets of towns that would provide, like, all of us most of us have got degrees we don't use anymore and stuff like that. And we've got skills that we can share. Like Jason says, he just wants to start teaching boys and girls again how to use equipment to build their own stuff, like Shop used to. So when we get together, can you imagine what we're going to do in the small towns that we live? So say Tina's in Singapore. So Tina says to me, what are you guys doing for this problem? And we've got it in place, like John's desire to get everybody off the street. We already got a little small thing that's working, say, in Beckley, West Virginia. And all we need to do is tell Tina in Singapore, if you can incorporate some of these things, we found out this works to get the kids off the street or to get them education at home or to purchase. We know dealers that can purchase computers discount for kids, and we're going to be a force to be reckoned with across the world. Does that make any sense to you guys? I got this vision of saying, okay, I want to help the Native Americans. That's my on the reservation. That's my big dream. But if I help one reservation, I won't stop there. I want to form a group that can go from reservation to reservation to reservation and incorporate the methodology to get the kids educated and living in the real world. Not that I say that their culture doesn't incorporate the real world, but they have to do both. And we're going to be so successful at this, especially when we can use our products like Omeo. Oh God, I've been waiting from the very beginning to have access to Omeo, and I never got it, when everybody was testing it. But it's got so many pluses to do things like we want to do with education for children, with education about humanity in general, not forcing people to work in jobs, 2, 3, 4 jobs in order to survive. We've got to do it where we got little small pockets of people that are brilliant. And they bring, now I know Chris Johnson is bringing together large groups of people in major cities like Michigan and Chicago. That is absolutely exciting. However, what about these little kids here? How about those little kids in Uvalde, Texas? What about those people that need healing? And we have to start small to make something beautiful and then let it grow. And if we use our vision, tunnel vision right now, to see those in front of us that we see every day, and we close our eyes because we can't stand to see the image that's reflected back at us. I used to go by the homeless on the way to work. I weep over some nights in my dream. And so we were in a high rise in downtown Sacramento where I was working for, at that time, I was working for the Department of Education. And we had to park way, 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 way away from the building because you couldn't park in town. There never was any place you could get any parking until we got allotted parking space under the building. So we had to walk over the railroad tracks and up. And in the morning, on the way to work, there would be homeless people laid out all over. And you'd have to literally step over their bodies to get past them. And here we were in high heels and skirts and everything, tipping over. We didn't know whether they were drunk, dead, or what. But it was one morning, and I noticed this man. I knew he was dead. And I stopped dead in my tracks, and I talked to the homeless that were around. I said, "Do you know that he has passed away?" And they said, "Nah, he's just sleeping it off." I said, "No, he has passed away." Anyway, I didn't have a cell phone at the time. It wasn't, you didn't carry him around with you like you do now. Anyway, I had to get back to work. I had to call the police. I had to report that a man had died on the street. And it took them 2 hours and 45 minutes to get there to pick that poor soul up. I cried and I cried and I cried. And I thought he died alone. He died without anybody. And everybody was so disrespectful that I thought then, and that's been 20, 30 years ago, when homelessness was not as bad as it is now. But I thought to myself, God, if you give me a chance and you show me the way, I'm going to make a change here. This is not right. And when they picked him up, they put him in the drunk truck because I was out at lunch and I could see him. They put him in the what they called the paddy wagon. Then they stuck him in like he was. I couldn't get over it, and I cried and I cried. I said, "I'm going to do something. I don't know what it is." And of course, I never had enough money to do a damn thing. Then I was busy feeding my kids, staying alive. And so now here is our opportunity, guys, to be so effective if we're smart. You can't do it by just spreading it everywhere. You've got to start concisely in an area that you can make a difference and then spread it out. And using things like OMail, O Academy, all of the products that we have to create an office at home is there at our fingertips. We can spread it out across the internet in such a way that was never there for us before, if that makes any sense. Um, OMail is going to have a domain-based email, and it has a calendar, and it syncs your events and updates on the fly. And oh my God, it does so many things. I was trying to remember everything when I was reading today about it. It allows you to plan a schedule of work conveniently at your fingertips without disclosing things. Like I found, I have told women many times, be careful what you put out there because it can cause you harm too. But when you transform virtual communications like OConnect is doing, holy moly, it's not going to, I don't think we're going to ever have privacy again, because everybody's going to be sharing. Uh, it's the best video conferencing software that has arrived on the scene since I don't know when. But I want to tell you, I really know that we have something in front of us that is like a blessing from God, I feel. When people ask me, do you believe that Ash Mafara is ordained to do the things he's doing? And I do. And this is what I base it on, not necessarily spirituality. Every once in a while in our society, a visionary comes along when we are drowning in despair. And out of the blue, they take charge, they create, they come up with ideas that no one else has come up with. They exploded across the world to make changes that help us and help humanity. So yes, I do believe that there are visionaries out there that are ordained to do this. Like even I don't like Elon Musk much. And it's not because he's autistic, because I have autistic friends and relatives. It's because he's arrogant and he drives me crazy. But what he's doing may not be right in a lot of people's eyes. Yes, Tonya, he is. That's what I feel about Ash. But Ash is doing it right. Musk isn't. Musk is self-motivated. Tina, what I like about OConnect is we don't, not only the language, but just think if I talk to you in your language with the stuff that we're doing here, just like right now, how much better that's going to be when we have, we get on our webinars and we don't have to convert and you don't have to convert your language, oh my God, it's going to have such an impact. You can track everything with it. And it's so integrated with all the other products. Oh my God, I'm so excited about OConnect. I can't wait to use it. And I think that we all are feeling that way right now. I think when they say, how can you wait? And I said, well, God, all through my lifetime, I never pray for patience. Never, never, never. Because sure enough, the one time I do, I get a lesson in patience I don't want to deal with again. So I don't pray for patience anymore. I pray for tolerance and, things like that. And they be more open minded and less demanding and all of that. So I don't pray for patience. But I am impatient to start. Not necessarily John or Tina or Sherry for my own. I'm not gonna lie to you and say, God, I need it probably worse than anybody in the world, and I'm not gonna use the benefits for myself because I am. But I know things take time. And once you start to try to open up your website on YouTube, took me 3 weeks to get the stuff together. Ash has been working at breakneck speed for all of us. Breakneck speed. He hasn't stopped since we joined in 2018 or 19. Breakneck speed. It took IBM 10 years to get a data center. Ash has accomplished that in a year's time. Less than a year. And he's talking about using blockchain technology. I agree, John. I think that as old as I am, if I hadn't had this new spark of life, I don't think I would have. I don't think I'd have been as enthusiastic about life as I am now, because I'm going to be able to help those. I swear I hate this business of where everything's backwards when you're looking at it on the screen. Whoops, I made it worse. Hang on. There's going to be a revelation for a lot of people coming soon. When people, I hate to tell anybody any of the visions because it doesn't apply here. We're talking about ONPASSIVE, but the visions I get of the future. Ah, John, bless you. God, you made me feel so good, honey boy. I think that we're going to see some of you guys are way too young to remember in the 40s when I was born, when The Grapes of Wrath was written about the people that migrated from Oklahoma into California, and how my mother used to stand on the porch and feed them as they come across the tracks. And they didn't have my dad raised everything that we ate, and he had a small feed store. And they'd come across the tracks, and my mother wouldn't let us out around them because she was afraid, they might harm us. But we had this big dog called Tippy, and he was smart. And my mother would draw a line in the sand, and she'd say, Tippy, don't let him go past there. And he wouldn't. They'd come down and they'd ask very politely if she had any food that she could share. And she'd go out and she'd bake bread on Saturdays, and she made bread for the whole week. But she made bread for those that needed it too. And so she'd have loaves of bread. She would have hot soup and things of that nature. And my mom and dad had nothing, but they had enough to give to other people. And there was a young family that come through, and I wanted to play. And I remember parts of it myself, but mostly from what my mother relayed to me later because I was little. And I wanted to play with their kids, and I kept asking, jumping up and down, and my mom said, no, no, you can't. And so later she explained to me that she never would let us uh, have a relationship with the transients because she didn't know their background. And that kind of stuck with me the wrong way in my lifetime. Because I think there's far too much discussion about people's background and less about their needs. So now we think homelessness is just new to this generation. It's not. Hey, John, I'm going to try to be there at PNG, but I might be late. Would you tell them for me, honey, that I'm coming? I forgot to get the link. Can you post the link in chat, John? And I will make sure, because I promised John David Backow that I would come. Anyway, I got carried away, but I wanted to talk about Old Bless more. And I want your stories, and I want your input, and I want you to let me know what we need maybe to do in your area or my area, or what the big needs are in the areas that we live in, whether it be education, food for kids, getting them to school, finding educational ways to educate them without sending them to school using O Academy, things of that nature. If we could really get, like Chris is doing, our ideas out there, you'd be surprised that your idea may be just exactly what someone in a small town might need. So if we do that and we use OConnect, as soon as we get it, we make it the one thing that everybody in the world's going to want, we're going to really be doing something. And I think our YouTube channels can help us do that. Because sometimes we go to webinars and we're just in the background. And you've got things you want to say so bad, and you don't have you can't take over somebody's webinar and say it, So I think if we had these little pockets of informative, like Marty's and their groups, and we can all coordinate. Okay, did you post it for me, John? The link. You put it in my messenger. Okay. We better close tonight and let all of us get our thanks so much, John. Anyway, I'll be there. I got to grab something right now. I thank you guys for being here, and I hope the next chat we have, don't forget to go to the 11 o'clock tomorrow, because there's some information that Jeffrey's going to give that's going to be very, very, very interesting. Oh, that's so good, Tina. That's so good. Anyway, I want to say good night. We've had a good little chat tonight, and I'll see you tomorrow night, or maybe I'm going to try for every night for at least 3 months. And then I'm going to be like Marty. I'm going to take a rest, because by then we're going to be going big time. But right now, I think we need to get the word out, and I'll help you get your channel started. I want to tell everybody here, if you're going to do it, I don't like Zoom, so I use Restream, and it'll cost about $19 a month to use Restream for 2 or 3. Like if you want to put it on Facebook, um, YouTube, and maybe another one, use Restream because they got a studio. You can have backgrounds. Everything is there. You don't have to worry about whether Zoom is going to let you do it or not. You go instantly live. I can't say enough about it. It's called RESTREAM.com, Restream. And everybody's using it now. So you might want to do that and it shows you, they've got videos how to set up your account on YouTube. If you go on the menu, they'll have videos you can watch that are really, really helpful, takes you step by step by step by step through it. So I highly recommend Restream if anybody's going to get started and they're afraid to go through all the bells and whistles you have to with Zoom and all of the other ones. Restream works. You can pay more. Thank you, Tina. I think you're pretty wondrous myself. But anyway, you can pay more. You can get a bigger package. I just can't afford it. $20 is all I can get, and I would like to drop Zoom, and hopefully we will have OConnect before very long, and I can do that. But anyway, it cost me $19 a month. And if you have want to do more than, you want to go to LinkedIn and you want to go to 4 or 5 others, stream at the same time, it can cost up to $40 a month. So you have to watch what you want to spend. I just want to go to YouTube and Facebook. So let me know if you need some help with that, and I will tell you what I found out. Okay? And we'll talk about it one night on the chat. But I'm going to let you go so we can all go to PNG and show them some love because they need us right now. And then I will see you all at 11 at Michael's group if you can get there, and we'll go from there. And if I have enough strength, we'll have another chat tomorrow night. So tell me what you want me to talk about, and we'll talk about it. Sherry, Tina, John. Oh, I was so pleased to see Marty. I love you all, and I will see you again really soon. Probably about 10 minutes. Okay? Bye-bye.